culture, education, pedagogy, research. Today, I have the distinct pleasure and honor to welcome with us Ms. Elena Avgoustidou, the Director of the International Relations Service of the University of Cyprus and Director of the Confucius Center at the University of Cyprus. My name is Dr. Marios Efthymiopoulos. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Strategy International, and this is Prime Analysis. Dear Ms. Avgoustidou, thank you very much for joining us at another Prime Analysis of Strategy International.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It's a great honor to have you with us here for a multiplicity of reasons. Number one, that we know each other for many years, but at the same time, your work at the University of Cyprus has made a true impact. You are the Director of the International Relations Service of the University of Cyprus, and you now also head as Director of the Confucius Center with the University of Cyprus. So while I would like to discuss, if you want, a variety of things, and I have a lot of questions to tell you, and probably because our audience will be looking, will be watching this event. While I have a lot of questions to tell you with regards to the office that you're heading, and also the impact that the University of Cyprus has made to the world, in a parallel world where education matters, what we commonly do in this series is that we start with the story of young Elena in this case. A young person who just finished school with a vision, a dream of what she wants to become. So please tell us a few things about your life.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I grew up in Greece, and I finished high school in Nicosia, Cyprus. I studied in the UK. I did my first and second degree in the UK, and after I finished, I came back to Cyprus. So I had my family in Cyprus, and one of the first things that I did was to be, a member of the University of Cyprus staff. So I started my service at the University of Cyprus in 1993, in March 1993, and it was, the whole, all these years, I mean, I haven't realized how years have passed by. We started, it was a new university, newly founded university. The University of Cyprus was the first, and is the first public university to be established in the Republic of Cyprus. It was established in 1989. So in 1993, it was still, early days. My role there was to be responsible for all the external relations of the University of Cyprus, and also the projects and the programs. We were not in the EU yet. Back at the time. So, as I mentioned before, it was a newly established university, the first public university, so there was a lot of things to be done. We were the first university on the island of Cyprus, in the corner of the Eastern Mediterranean.
In a time of change.
In a time of change, of course. So we had to be aggressive. We had to be, become connected. So at the point, international relations was something new for the university then, and also research. So we had to, create the basis and for all the procedures, the committees with the Senate, all these logistical parts of doing the international relations and research at the university from the administrative point of view, always. But at the same time, we had to be become known in the community within Cyprus, in the area, but also in Europe. As things developed, and as Cyprus became a member of the EU, things developed
and became more blossomed.
Exactly.
Was it I know that I'm just s- jumping, I think,
Yeah.
within the discussion, but the University of Cyprus is pivotal to the success of the Republic of Cyprus, the modern Republic of Cyprus,
Yeah.
the one that actually changed a great deal, as you said, also
Yeah.
from its entrance to the EU. It is also essential because the University of Cyprus is, as I understand, as a professor also, as I understand, it is a moderator with regard to the standards, with regard to the processes,
Yeah.
with regards to the perspectives and the relations, international in nature, in consideration to research, culture, and education.
Yeah, the University of Cyprus has a huge role to play and has been playing, and also these are, the targets and the vision for the future is to become in the Euro-Mediterranean area a center of excellence. In order to do that, you have to be as much excellent as possible in different areas, in research, teaching, international relations, contribution to the society. So we have many roles as a public institution in the Republic of Cyprus.
And as I understand, I mean, as everybody has seen here, the University of Cyprus has grown immensely with a state-of-the-art infrastructure.
Yeah,
I have to say that
we're very proud of our campus. We're very, very proud.
The first time when I first landed in Cyprus,
Yeah.
I remember that was back in 2009. I started my academic career at the University of Cyprus as a visiting lecturer, if I remember correct.
Yeah,
The campus was just being built versus the old campus.
yeah.
So half of the services were there.
Exactly. I mean, we were,
yeah.
we were, not all services or departments were in the new campus, but was a gradual progress
Yes, yes.
in the development of the campus. Yeah, but it's still, it's an ongoing process. We're going to have now we have a state-of-the-art library that we are very, very proud of. We are going to have a new building for the Faculty of Engineering. Since we're expanding, we're going to have a new building for the biological sciences and also the medical school. So it's an ongoing process.
And I guess in this process, what is very inspiring, and sometimes we hesitate to say that, but what is inspiring is the environment, the habitat where you work or get educated.
Yeah.
And I always remembered that I would go a great deal of times at different areas within the new campus. And I also love the old campus.
Yeah, it's more traditional.
Because it's
Yeah,
more
yeah.
traditional, so it was more like the
Yeah.
real tradition of Cyprus. But the new one is also an inspiring area. And that says a lot with regard to infrastructure. Because, as you know better than me, becoming one of the top 600 around the world, which is the University of Cyprus,
Yeah.
includes also what sort of infrastructure you give back to the community.
Exactly, and it doesn't have to do also only for the members of academic staff or the members of administrative staff, the students. Exactly, it's exactly what you said. The community could be part and. In inverted commas, get advantage of the facilities that our campus has to offer. So it's, we want to be close to the community and we want to give back to the community, especially since we're a public institution.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess also that you synchronize with the rules and regulations as they come in from also the EU, but also the agreement.
Yeah, exactly.
That the heads of state
yeah,
are doing,
we have to balance these two elements. What the rules and regulations of the government of Cyprus and of course of EU.
So when you say you said earlier that we had to be aggressive in a positive way, obviously,
always in a positive way.
towards collaborations, processes, and stuff. I guess that you had also the outgoing, so the international, but also the national. Habitat, the environment, the ecosystem that is the Republic of Cyprus. So tell us a few things on your experiences. What are the lessons learned? How do you expand?
Yeah, the thing is that the University of Cyprus, when it was established, it was very lucky to have academic staff coming from abroad.
Right.
The members of the academic staff had, and still have connections from the universities that they used to work or do research or collaborate in general. So it was a very big asset to the newly established University of Cyprus. At the same time, you had a very high standard of professionals, of administrative staff, working in the administration of the University of Cyprus. Most of these people have studied abroad.
Right.
So they brought in the knowledge and the know-how from, in the university. So these were the initial assets that we had. Now, as far as the policy and the strategy that we had, as far as international relations are concerned, yes, we were a small university, newly founded university, but with a good quality, high caliber academic staff. Its people believed in that, worked towards this direction. So we had our first priority back then, in the early days, was of course the European Union. Right. And our aim was targeted towards this area, the European Union and Europe in general. And that's why we developed collaboration with European Union universities. We became members in European networks and associations. And we didn't want only to become members. We wanted active participation in these networks and associations. So we wanted to, put our mark, show what we have, and also gain experience and bring in knowledge. Yeah.
But I guess these are some of the equation information that makes a success story, because the university has grown immensely in numbers.
Yeah.
Employees, all employees of all levels, of all kinds, administration or academic, students, and international reputation as well. So now I think you're getting another milestone where you said you're creating new schools. There's a probability that at some point you might have non-Greek degrees coming along.
Yes, we're looking forward to that. At the moment, as far as the new departments, we're a comprehensive university. The last school to be established was our medical school as well. We're a research-oriented university. Right. So things are evolving, and it's a very dynamic environment. Now, as far as our students are concerned, yes, the numbers are increasing. At the moment, we have 7,000 students, and our target is to reach 10,000 students. And we want more international students. We want our university to become more international for obvious reasons. A hub. And this is based also with the government's policy as well, to create and make Cyprus an education hub for university-level institutions and students. At the moment, we have around more than 30 programs of study at the master's and PhD level offered in English. And of course, our target is also to offer programs of study in the undergraduate level. At the moment, only the English Studies Department and the French and European Studies Department, obviously for obvious reasons, are offering undergraduate programs in non-Greek. Right. But the potential is there, the willingness is there. Our academic staff is ready to offer programs of study in English as well in all departments.
What is also very interesting with the University of Cyprus, and I have to say, I have to be very honest on this, is the way that it has been embraced by its own society, by the local community. Yeah. I see it because I'm a professor as well. So I also all the time we also see the solutions or the agreements, the respective elements between the government, the University of Cyprus, which is a public university, and how do we associate ourselves in the research sector, in the objectives, in the phenomenon that is developing, as you said, Cyprus a hub of education, which is very important. And at the same time, it has been embraced by all communities because a whole financial ecosystem has been created all around it.
Exactly. At the moment, the University of Cyprus has more than 1,000 members of academic staff and also researchers, plus administrative staff. the number of researchers, not only academics, full-time academics, but also researchers are increasing. So I think we're the number one employer in Cyprus as far as people working in research is concerned, because there is a high level of research production, if I can use this phrase.
Yes.
Yeah, and
output
as well. And this research output contributes not only to the international scientific area, but also locally. That's why there are many agreements with local entities, either private entities or the government, as far as applied research is concerned. That's why we have, centers of excellence that are funded by the EU, and it's phenomenal as for the Cypriot standards and size as well.
And I'm going back to the earlier parts that we discussed. You mentioned we brought people with international experience, but they also brought you with an international experience.
Yeah.
And knowing you all these years, this passion that you have is
it's a must.
No, it's not. It's a must. It's a must by morality and ethics.
Yeah.
But it's also a must when somebody wants it even more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the success story also has a proportion of your name inside.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words.
The reason why I'm saying this is because you also expand by yourself. So while everybody progresses and they do centers of excellence, you are now also the director of the Confucius Center for Learning of Chinese Culture and Language at the University of Cyprus.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, Ms. Avgoustidou-Kyriacou.
So this project, if I can say that, the creation of the Confucius Institute at the University of Cyprus began 12 years ago. There was a proposal handed to us and given to us that we looked into this proposal. Maybe you don't know, but any Confucius Institute around the world is created with a collaboration with another institution in China, with a host institution, local host institution, and also the government of China. So it's a joint venture. Mm-hmm. So, 12.
So which is the partner university you have?
Is the Beijing Institute of Education.
Yeah, I thought it would be Beijing. Yes.
So what we saw in this potential partner institution was that, and based on the fact that our Department of Education at the University of Cyprus, the first Department of Education to be established in Cyprus and the biggest one within our university. So we find similar areas of joint collaboration in research and educational activities. So we looked into this proposal, and since a few back then of our academics had ad hoc collaboration with Chinese institutions, we thought and we believed that this was a good opportunity for the University of Cyprus to open up a window to Asia, and specifically in China. So this kind of joint venture, yes, indeed gave us opportunity as an institution to be engaged in educational activities, not only cultural activities, but through culture, to be engaged also in educational activities.
Did it make an impact in reality, do you think? In both, in people and institutions, governments?
Yeah, I think there is the impact, it can be seen in different levels, in different ways. Internally, as a university, it was the first kind of an institute to be established within the University of Cyprus as a joint venture, as I described. So the first and the most, it was an innovative thing to do back then in 2012 and 2013 because there are students through our language center, because also the University of Cyprus has a very active and successful language center, offering more than 8 languages at the moment to our students. So through our language center, the Confucius Institute had the opportunity to give back to our students and give them the opportunity to learn Chinese within their curriculum. So we
So
introduced.
what would have been the curriculum? It would
Yeah.
be Department of Education, or would it be, for example,
No, it's
Department of Mathematics, and then
no, any student
Okay.
from any department can choose the Chinese language courses
Right.
as an elective, gaining 5 ECTS. And
not 6.5?
5 ECTS. At the moment, then, when we started, when we firstly established the Confucius Institute, we offered level 1 Chinese.
Right.
Now we have reached, we offer more
because
levels.
they are more mature.
More
so
mature,
they want
so
more
they have
degrees
also the
and-
option to get, to become more, fluent in Chinese language.
Which is not an easy task, I guess.
It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all.
By the way,
it's a different philosophy.
Did you learn anything
Yeah,
on
everybody
Chinese?
keeps asking me if I've learned Chinese, and no, I know a few words, but it needs very, very strong commitment and time in order to become fluent in Chinese. But we've given our students this opportunity, and also through the Confucius Institute, we offered also the Chinese experience to our students. We organized delegations of our students visiting Beijing or other major cities in China, going there to learn about the culture, to learn about the language. So through this cultural engagement, more opportunities were created for enhancing cooperation with Chinese institutions.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a very, very, very dynamic. And apart from the learning of Chinese, so we have the opportunities were created to develop research with Chinese institutions, to collaborate with our counterparts in China within the Erasmus Plus international program for mobility of students and staff and administrative
So
staff.
there is an Erasmus agreement between
Yes,
China and...
because the Erasmus.
And it runs as a semester based, or is it Erasmus Mobility Plus also for faculty, for example?
Erasmus capacity building.
Yes.
You mean? Yeah. This is also. But we manage, as an international relations service, we manage the Erasmus program for the mobility of students, mobility of academic staff, and of administrative staff.
So there is also for academic staff and administrative
Of
staff.
course. Yeah. We started going back.
No, as a policy, we know it exists as an agreement. As an agreement.
We going back. We started participating in the Erasmus program in 1997, 1998. Cyprus was not part of the EU back then, so the Cyprus government was paying our entry and our right to be in the Erasmus. But over the years, and the last 5 years, 6 years, we also have the Erasmus Plus International.
And I know that
which is with the third countries, i.e.
Exactly.
countries non-being members of the EU.
And not only that, but you also had a program which was co-financed from the University of Cyprus with the public sector, with the private sector, if I'm correct, on Erasmus. The Erasmus actually had through the University of Cyprus.
Yeah, there are many Erasmus programs. The mobility one is a separate one, the mobility. But there is also Erasmus capacity building. There are other programs under the Erasmus umbrella. These, which are more, they don't have to do with Erasmus, but you can apply them in different areas and from different targets.
Good.
Yeah.
So Chinese,
yes.
I'm still insisting on the Chinese because up until now we know the West. We are becoming more and more westernized. We have clearly put our political footprint with the West, and whatever this comes along as a result is related with the West. But here we are talking about, and you mentioned it, and I'm picking up on this, another philosophy.
Yeah.
You said China is another philosophy. I guess you know far better than a great deal of people how different this philosophy is vis-a-vis the West. But what about the Hellenic culture?
Yeah.
Hellenic and Chinese, what are the common denominators and what are the different denominators?
Yeah, I also had the opportunity to learn more things. I've been always interested in China and the culture. When I was growing up, but being in this position, I had first had an opportunity to collaborate with the people from China, to visit China many times, and also to collaborate with Chinese living in Cyprus. So this is another element. As you know, Cyprus and China, they've been, they share a common, they're very close ties since the establishment of the Republic of Cyprus. And gradually, and over the years, there are many thousands of Chinese people that have made Cyprus their home. So this is also another element and another role that the Confucius Institute has to play to give back, the university through the University of Cyprus, through the Confucius Institute.
You're talking the cultural and institutional understanding.
Yeah, exactly. To give back also to the community, to be close to the Chinese diaspora. Living in Cyprus. So this
how many
also,
are the Chinese, do you know?
I think there are maybe around 5,000 Chinese living in Cyprus.
Number.
Yeah,
it's a big number.
So it's a way to give back to the community, to be close to the Chinese diaspora in Cyprus, and also to enhance these ties that the Republic of Cyprus has with China.
It seems that the Chinese government by itself has... I'm going to try to pivot out of politics. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into the political situation because we know that there's a competition, if I may call it like this. But the Chinese are approaching Cyprus with a very polite, if I may call it, way. Trade ways, cultural ways, educational ways. It has only recently was put to be asked, what would you do in the Middle East to solve the Middle East problem? What would you do to solve the Cyprus issue? And we saw some public statements, also the China-Cyprus friendship and councils and so on and so forth, where they say that through the security, they call it somehow Security Council or something like that, a project that they're trying to approach things in more to understand and comprehend what is happening, and possibly to put, maybe at the UN level, to put some sort of proposal for the solution of the Cyprus issue. And I know because these two conditions, the University of Cyprus, a public university, which must deal with the reunification of the island and its citizens, while at the same time you also have another power, which is one of the financial global powers, called China, who has an invested interest and has invested into its own people being here. I don't know whether big investments have been effective or not, but then again, it showcases that there is an interest for a post-conflict solution, for a much larger involvement of Cyprus, because it considers Cyprus as pivotal to civilizational, cultural dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. But because we share also, due to our Greek heritage, we also share some common values, history. The Greek civilization and the Chinese civilization is the two ancient civilizations. So the Chinese people appreciate that.
Right.
You can see that.
I've seen it.
Yeah, they appreciate our Greek origin.
Sometimes too much.
And they value this, and they are very.
Their historiography is
they
amazing.
honor this as well. Yeah, because they believe in this, and to our the Greek philosophers, and this goes to modern days as well, to the links and the ties that we have within the family, the traditions that we value and we honor as people. The family traditions.
What about religious
So we have
traditions?
These similarities.
What about religious traditions? I know that
they're not so similar because different religion.
No, I wasn't talking about Christianity versus something else. I was talking about the fact that you have divinity, if I can call that, divinity into the equation of your civilization.
And also they believe in that, and also in harmony as well. So they believe in that.
That we are harmonious?
Yeah, the harmony that, based on our Greek philosophers, what they believed, and how harmony can also be effective positively.
So balance.
Yeah, balance in our lives.
Ariston.
Yeah.
Are we harmonious?
Yeah. not always, but it goes back to our roots.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, they find these kind of similarities.
So they're inspired by what Greece or what the Greek nation was or is,
Yeah.
and probably about the fact that we spread around civilization in the Middle East,
Yeah.
that we spread around civilization in what you call Turkey today, civilization in the Black Sea, civilization in Europe, civilization in the Middle East, North Africa.
Yeah.
So I think they're inspired from that.
Yeah.
Um,
And they value that,
They
and they
value that.
appreciate that.
I had my own share, small, but share of experience where they are extremely polite, and I think politeness is part of the equation of approachment. I think.
Yeah.
In what sense? Not being polite. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm not talking about this politeness. Politeness is saying that I'm willing to learn. That is what politeness, for my understanding, is.
Yeah.
That they are not, I came, I believe this, I will apply this policy vis-a-vis, let's say, Cyprus. They are very keen on doing everything to connect.
Yes.
So where do you see, and I'm now converting a bit, I'm opting into politics, where do you see the relationship between Cyprus and China? Maybe
Yeah.
also through academia, by the way, through
Yeah.
universities. I mean, universities create policies.
Yeah,
Create
they create
education, but
policies,
creates policies,
or I mean, they
research.
can facilitate also the connection
Negotiators,
through
mediators.
the connection between countries or areas, geographical areas as well, through collaborations, research collaborations, educational collaborations, exchanges. So I think that the relations between the two countries are going to be continuously developing. The close ties since 1960s are there. So the willingness to continue this kind of collaboration is there. And I believe that, also Cyprus being member of the EU, being also geographically what it
The
is.
first entrance.
Yes. It's an important element for this, for the future collaboration and the
Absolutely.
development in these ties.
Absolutely. It is very fascinating how you have combined the two. The University of Cyprus and the Confucius Center. I mean, knowing that what universities do, everything you have combined on extroverted information on international relations as a service.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting part.
Yeah. This is the reality, our reality. This is how things work. And as a service, this is what we're trying to do as an international relations service, to bring people together
Okay.
from whatever country. We also always try to see the opportunities that are there for the University of Cyprus and its academics and its students. And we're trying to find the opportunity to exchange know-how for the better good from both parties. We always want to deal with with our counterparts and our potential collaborators and the partners, acknowledging their strengths, acknowledging our strength, and bring these strengths together.
Of course.
Yeah.
But everything is ongoing.
Yeah.
So
as to have a win-win situation for both parties. Yeah.
You're a mediator.
Yeah.
You're not just international relations service. You're a mediator.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So opting in again in politics, things are changing fast. We're not talking about the future of what do you expect to see. We cannot avoid the fact that things are going extremely bad for the Middle East, considering that there is a war against terrorists, and at the same time there's no solution to the Palestinian issue. At the same time, the Middle East has to cope with a new policy that is coming from the west side of the US, where it wants to be more involved, with an unfinished war between Ukraine and Russia, because all of these things affect academia, they affect research, they affect relations, university, institutional, or governments, or people to people. It also affects trade, it affects business. How do you cope with that? I will call it volatility. I've been calling it
Yeah, it
volatility for a
is.
while. How do you cope with this volatility, considering the fact that you are a university for the service of your citizens, number one, and number two, for the service of the Europeans, and number three, for those that are coming outside the EU to get educated in your institution? How do you protect the freedom of education, meaning the right of education, not the freedom of education, the right of education within a spectrum that you know that some people may go or leave the country, they may not have a country to come back, or they may have a country that may alter its political situations and consideration, considering that, Central Asia is not, it's an emerging potential market. North Africa, Africa is a potential market. South America is a potential market. And at the same time, we see a lot of political developments within the EU framework or the Euro-Atlantic framework. I'm adding here Canada and the US.
Yeah.
How do you see those things? How do you keep a balance on those elements? And this is very important. I guess
It is
I
very
guess
important.
You're
Yeah.
influenced somehow.
Of course, we're influenced, and it's very important. I mean, to our area of work, whatever happens in the world affects us directly. We, as a university, we have our priorities. Our strategy. We have different, specific areas that we want to focus on. But these areas, as you mentioned, it's geographically and geopolitically, things are, evolving, and they are very, very volatile. So we're trying to balance these things out. It's not easy. It's not easy because, as you said, we have to think about the international students that are members of our community. We have to think about our partners in different countries, in different areas, how much we can collaborate, what obstacles are there. Because of the wars and this situation, there are also physical obstacles. You cannot communicate.
That's what I was saying.
So maybe sometimes mobility cannot take place. So we have to change and be flexible and change the priorities.
And I guess you have to work with the government.
Yes.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I presume,
yeah.
Ministry of Interior, Immigration.
Yeah. Everything is interconnected. At the same time, we discuss about these issues because the issues that we have, or the challenges, if I may say, that we have as international relations, all institutions face the same challenges.
So, but I was just talking from the point of view of a public institution.
A public institution,
not a private.
Yeah, I mean, also other public institutions in the European.
Like the PAC,
in Cyprus.
Like open university.
And these matters are discussed also locally.
You also reflect governance.
Yeah, exactly.
In you're publicly funded as government.
Exactly, and we have a mission. We're a public institutions.
Very clear cut.
Exactly. So that's why we collaborate, and the feedback from, for example, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Interiors, all this is very, very important. At the same time, these challenges that we face, we have the opportunity to discuss these issues with our counterparts in many European public institutions. Because we're members of associations and networks, and there are networks of international relations offices or services. So these are challenges that our colleagues face in Europe, in the Middle East as well. So we can exchange this kind of how can I say worries that we have. But we, as a university, we should be able to change and be flexible, and should be able to change our priorities in order to accommodate the current international situations.
I know that we can go on and on discussing about more and more of those things, and I know that we are very cautious in explaining to the world what it has become. It's very dangerous. It's very Even for me as a political scientist, it makes me sometimes wonder when I'm asked, so what's happening? Like, where do I start and where do I stop? But I guess one of the future roles of Cyprus, maybe also with the university itself, has to be a mediator of peace.
Yeah.
Exactly because the Cyprus issue has not been resolved 50 years. The experience gained is immense. I know that it has not led to conclusions. There is no way there are going to be conclusions when you have one of the two sides coming out stating whatever it stated. I'm talking about Turkey. But the elements, the attention, the mechanisms to reunite the island, the education around this, to unite the citizens, Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots,
yeah.
and everybody else, Maronites, Arabs, everybody who's in the constitution of the Republic of Cyprus, has to have an institution that plays a pivotal role in the mediation process and the negotiation process. Yes, to solve the Cyprus issue, but it can play a role in the mediation process of reaching out peace in the Middle East. I was always firm, even in my past experiences with government and governments, that everything that is happening around us has an impact. So when everything goes bad or wrong, has an impact on us. And we know we say this, but we have to become outspoken. We are EU, we're on the corner edge, we're next to volatility. If we're not volatility by ourselves, we have to prove the validity of our science and research and capability building every day. So we have to be outgoing, which I don't see anything better than just to utilize a university, which is exactly the place where the mindset is done, Chinese philosophy in this case, or Greek philosophy in this case, where you can bring the sides to sit down and discuss the elements of peace. It is not a political statement. This is a scientific statement that I'm making. The scientific statement says the following: all universities work for education, research, and outputs, which has a practical significance into our society. I consider that the University of Cyprus, hence why it is very vital that the University of Cyprus, as a public institution, makes and increases, if you want, its capacity as it is, because people are feeling secure around it. And I think this is something that we may not understand. We take it as a given.
Yeah.
A university to be established, public or private, to grow, to develop, to associate with the community or the international community is not a given.
It's not a given, and it's one of, this is the role of a university. Yeah, to give back to the society, to contribute to peace through the engagement in different activities. So this is the role, yeah.
My dear Elena, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
It has been an honor and pleasure to have you. I know that parts of the success of the University of Cyprus has also to do with you and your team, and your team members. And I would like also to thank you because you were, I think, one of the very first persons that I met in Cyprus when I first came in.
Yeah.
But it has been an honor and pleasure. And
the honor was mine. Thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
You're most welcome. And I do invite you to join us again.
Yeah.
And we're here for you and to increase.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all for watching another web series of Prime Analysis. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow into our YouTube channel and social media. My name is Dr. Marios Efthymiopoulos. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Strategy International. And remember, impact makes a difference.